Hey, this is part 3 of this epic story we've been going through. So the first part seems to be the overall story between person A and person B. The second part seems to be the story of person A and all the people in their lives, telling them what to do, what not to do, the options, and all sorts of goodies. And now the partner that was brought up in the first 2 readings. Let's see what this story is about and how they all tie together. Again, what did I show you in the first reading? First and second, I think. This card came out. No, the first one. This person is literally someone you're supposed to be with. Oh wait, you can't see it from there. Here. The fawn with a 35, which goes to an 8. A cycle, a chapter in your life, basically. This is the best friend, the ally, the guardian, the divine counterpart. In the book it says that, it's kind of like your Patronus in Harry Potter. It's a very ambiguous energy to try to describe, but it fits under an umbrella. That umbrella is that of it's your tuxedo mask. I keep seeing the Sailor Moon reference in this role-playing game team. The mage, the healer, the warrior, the ranger, the assassin, the pickpocket, and all those classes. This is your partner. So if there's a healer, there's a tank. If there's the mage, there's, the warrior type. If there's the ranger, there's the little pickpocket that goes in, the counterpart. Doesn't mean they're your opposite, it means they're your complement. So I guess you can call them your divine complement. And Arval Parrot, it's always, always, always a communication coming to you. Not communication that you're doing, but communication coming to you. So if this is from the point of view of the partner, actually it isn't. Wait a minute, this is mirrored. Person A saw this, the ally, to describe this person they're with. Person B has the ally to describe the person that they're talking about, or that their story is leading them to. So these two people are connected to each other and communication is going to occur. Both of them have had the confusion cleared. You know how you can go from left to right, like left brain, right brain? Both sides of the brain are working together to communicate an honest answer. Or an honest, conversation. And it's going to shake things up really, really, really intensely. Kind of like I told you so. See, pointing to it and saying I told you so. The Death card. Another 8. Are you kidding me? The Dark Lady. Okay. Your divine counterpart has something to tell you, and something is being told to them at the same time because your lives are mirroring each other. So there's communication going on with your counterpart that is involving leaving behind a chapter of life that has closed off already, and it was involving lower carnal, just beginning astral psychic kind of interactions. Like this person is just getting into If you want to play it in levels, like here, let me show you with this box. So there's no hierarchy here, okay? But if you're going from the physical plane to the emotional plane to, you know, the astral plane to the temporal to whatever, the person A and person B, because really this is mirrored, they're both moving up into a wavelength that is new to them. This person, person B, this reading is focused on person B, okay? Let's get this clear, because I'm getting really, really mixed signals as to how much these people are alike and they're experiencing the same thing. They're both going basically from 3D to 4D, and then 40, and the other one's going from like 4D to 5D, if you want to use the New Cage terminology. Person A is already basically dealing with just the maturity inside to be ready for everything that's coming to them. Person B is a little not behind. Their path has taken them on a different journey. Their path has been more physical and of the flesh, while person A from the previous reading, their life has been more about their inner work, their kind of spiritual, material, not finances, but their worth, their value, their quality of self, quality of their life, the company they keep. They've been going through an entire, you know, not a tower moment, but a rinse cycle of their entire life. The dirt's getting cleaned out and new stuff's getting put in. This person, the dirt's cleaned out, but it still has to go through another cycle before new stuff's put in. Because they just got done with a chapter of their life where they could have been really not nice to themselves. And they could have done bad things with their own actions. And bad as in, like, they weren't good to themselves. Maybe they drank a lot, maybe they started smoking, or they just quit smoking. Maybe they were vegetarian and they were eating meat for a while, or they got into a really promiscuous phase. Something about a beginning or an end, alpha omega type of situation here, but in between it, they did some shit they regret, basically. Because the communication that wants to come to this person and from this person is being stopped by shame, guilt, regret, remorse, blah, blah, blah. But when cards like this come out in readings, it usually denotes, it's here to show you that this is what's currently going on, and it's in the process of moving out of this. So this isn't what's going to happen when you're with them. This is what's happening now. By the time you're with this person face to face, keep in mind for yourself, whether you're this person or not, that you've been through a shit ton of stuff. And it doesn't have to make you into a stone cold bitch, basically. Your body is your temple. Your mind is your temple. Everything inside of you is sacred. Treat it that way. You have a divine counterpart. You want to talk to this divine counterpart. You want to make an offer to this divine counterpart that will last past death. Through the good and thick and thin, bad and good, you two have been together. But it's time to level up. My neighbor, she says something really funny about her, like, she was ever gonna have kids, she'd be like, class up. Like, get classy. So this is basically this person on the verge of getting really classy. Because they've done it all, 8, and then 5 and 7. 5 and 2 is 7. They've learned, they've completed, they've moved on from a cycle. They found the enlightenment and spiritual connection within themselves, and they've moved past the cycle towards something new. Because this is either a new moon or, the fading crescents. So a cycle has definitely been completed, and somebody found their wings, whether they're dark wings or light wings. Somebody got their wings. Just because you're, not light and fluffy and full of marshmallows and angels, doesn't mean you're also not, you're not doing good work. There must be a balance between light and dark, and this person is seeing that now. Faf the Footer. Really? Sorry, this image flooded through my mind just now of this one time my partner and we had really gone through something massive in our life, a huge lawsuit that was going on with years ago, the previous landlords. When we completed that entire mess, I asked him, I'm like, hey, we need to go to Home Goods and find something to commemorate us moving through this bullshit and moving past it so that we will always remember we got through it. We were together for a long time, and whenever we had moments, pinnacles of our relationship where we got to the highest high and we accomplished something, or the lowest low, and we got through it, we would buy something. We would ground the moment into an object. Usually it would be salt lamps or beautiful decorations that we would find that would be sentimental, but had a story that would tell you, oh, you got through this, and this is the trophy for it. From pictures of goddesses to statues of things that, mean memory and completion and success, like elephants and gold coins and just random different things to bring that accomplishment into your world so you don't repeat it over and over in your mind. So when you see this thing oh, I got this when I had my first, Kit Kat bar. So every time you see it, you remember, when I had my first Kit Kat bar, I went out and bought that. That's what's happening here. This divine counterpart has really come to realize something about how they communicate and what they desire to communicate. Both hemispheres of the brain are working together, and they're about to come up with some massive, cute little idea for themselves that is going to be life-changing. But in order for them to get through it, they have to take the pearl of wisdom gained by all this, dig it out of the underworld like a good Scorpio would do, ground it into the solid foundations of normal day-to-day life, and move forward from there. Otherwise, this energy would fade like a shadow. Some people get tattoos, by the way, for these moments I'm talking about. When I was 21, I went and got a tattoo of the symbol of hope on my back. I was going through a very rough time back then, and I sat in that chair, and the guy had me turn around and hug the chair. And I just held the image of the goddess in my mind the entire time he was tattooing my back. My lower spine, it hurt so bad. But I knew it was for a reason. I got through a really dark spot in my life, and I was my own light. I got through it following the guidance I had received from the divinity within me. And that's what this person has done. They reached the lowest of the low for their own standards. They found the light within, and they're coming back up. But they need to ground this change into the physical world. Whether through a tattoo, a painting, a poem, whatever you can do to express it outward. That way it becomes a part of your, it becomes a badge of honor. A feline. He showed up upside down, but I don't really read them in reverse. And it doesn't really feel like it would be in negative way. It feels like something was done and completed, and he's just showing up to tell you, hey, you're ready to tie up those loose ends. You're ready to go towards the completion and move forward. So have courage. Don't be a scaredy lion. Don't be a, guess we may as well. Don't be that way. You've been through far too much. You've survived and thrived through far too much to get to this point of completion and mastery. To be all grumpy grandpa about it. Especially with a dark lady. If you take that energy of you being tired and transmute it into an energy of such slow, sensuous passion in yourself, you'd move like molasses in sunlight. You don't have to be tired and frumpy. You can be tired and sexy. You can find the paradox, which was in the other reading, the Pook. The collective of pixies. A bunch of troublemakers again. In the other reading they came up too. You guys have a lot of people around you telling you what to do and what not to do. And if you want my advice, and mind you, these readings don't apply to me. I exclude myself from all of the readings I do because I don't want to have a bias. I don't want to have my energy projected onto here. I'm merely the crystal that the light is being refracted through. And here I'm seeing the light of you and your partner and a group of people. Some of them who have been supporting you and holding you up and showing you which way to go and having fun with everything. And the other ones just being completely the worst companions you could ever have. The worst. Like you have, the X-Men, and then you have the Brotherhood of Evil Mutants. Partner A is pretty much with the Hellfire Club 24/7. I mean, the amount of royalty that person is surrounded by, and it doesn't mean that they're like fancy rich people. It means that these people know what they want and they go for it and they get it. And doors and money aren't really a thing to those people. And this person, they have a lot of people immaturely, like little chicks in a barn, chirping at everybody, which is just keeping this divine counterpart, this partner, frustrated, stressed, annoyed, irritated. They just want to get things done and move forward. They just want to do, get things finished up, make everybody happy and joyful, take care of their own desires and needs, let the past go, communicate honestly with everybody in their life, accept themselves. Because this wouldn't come up unless something was so over. And it's right next to communication. And this card really, whenever I've gotten this card, just FYI with a little bit of TMI, every time I've gotten this card, something really, I don't want to get into it. It's too much. It's just like you know how people say you shine the light of consciousness onto a space, and I don't want to butcher this card at all. It's a wonderful card, but 90% of the readings where it's come out for me, it's usually a feeling of somebody being really slutty, whether it's mentally, physically, or just being completely promiscuous with their emotions, going around talking to everybody about the same old fucking drama. And they revel in it. They thrive in this. This like overly sexual to the point where it's making you sick behavior. Look, she's like not even a normal color. She's not even shadow lit. She's just almost green. At her best, this person is a passionate lover. This person is amazing and seductive and creative, and she'll take you to the depths of everything and bring you back up with massive lessons that you never thought you could learn, having learned them and mastered them. She will pop your root chakra and your third eye open at once and connect you to your own God inside and be like, that's who you've been all along. Like, you can't hide stuff from this person whatsoever. And for her to be next to death and then next to communication and offers and marriage proposals, divine counterparts, it's the same thing as the last reading. If you want to be with this person, the piece of you, the part of you, the version of you that has kept you, look at all these dark cards. Dark background, dark background, dark background, dark background, dark background, gray background. The one glimmer of light. If you really want to illuminate your own shadow self, you're going to need to love your shadow self. Just like the other reading. Make your inner critic be your best friend. If those pants make you look fat, great. You need a size bigger pants and it's okay. That way the next size pants won't make you look fat. You don't have to stop at the thing where, oh, these pants make me look fat, I feel bad. No, crazy. Just go get another pair of pants. Jeez. You don't need to be all like, oh, it's so terrible, I shouldn't do this, I shouldn't do that. No, you did it. Did you have fun? Did you like it? Good. Now you've moved past it. Just like the other reading. Are you ready? Are you ready to put everyone else outside of your relationship, to put your own negative self-talk away? Your own desires, your own carnal needs, just upgrade them. Level up your living experience. I know digging in the depths of everything can be very addicting and safe. To go from one thing to another and never really finish anything because you're just too busy. I mean, Faf the Footer, he's too busy to even put his legs down or to move them up or to leave them down. He's just busy, busy, busy. And this feline is just sitting there waiting like, hey, can we finish? And, the thing we started a week ago. And the minute you want to do it, these people are all like, nope, 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 nope. And you just stay in the corner wondering, it's fine. It's all fine. Which is probably why the Queen of Pentacles in the other reading doesn't have a sense of boundaries other than to be defensive. Because this person has no boundaries other than to be the person that seems to be on the offense. To the Queen of Pentacles, this person would give her a reason to put those 9 of Wands up. Talking about darkness and shadows and death and sex and moving too quickly for their own good, never finishing what they start, involving way too people in their relationship, way too many. You see how they're counterparts? Like a true partnership. And there's so many 8s. There's an 8 in this 58. There's an 8 in this 48. There's an 11 here. An 8 in this 53. An 8 in this 35. Another 5, another 5, another 5. Jeez. You are never going to be the same after this week. And it's your choice on either setting the foundation for the next however long cycle of your life, with the next chapter of your book. It's up to you whether you want to go through it with it's up to you whether you want your laundry done by the time this person shows up or not. Your choice. You can leave the pile of laundry, your emotional laundry. You can leave it there all you want. But eventually you're going to have to clean up the mess you made inside of yourself. And the mess you made around people around you that only know one version of you, which is the version that, just like partner A is immature in the way how she handles boundaries, or he or she, this person is immature in the way that they handle interactions with others. It's not high vibe. It's very low vibe. It's very, I don't know how to explain this to you. It's very Dark Lady. And the Dark Lady is opposite the Fawn. Light and dark. Again, another counterpart type of thing. I wonder what's happening for this. I really hope you guys comment and tell them, like, share what happened. Even if it, oh, of course it is. I was just going to say, even if it isn't about love, but it is. Fairy was kissed by pixies. Just up to 3. I think the 3rd house is the house of communication. I could be wrong on that. Aw, it's kind of like the Dark Lady, instead of having feathered wings. You know, look, night and day. Partner A and partner B, when they're together and when they're separate. When they're separate, one of them goes into tramp mode. When they're together, they're completely boom. It's like one is the power source to light the other one up, and the other one is the light to keep the other one in the light. So whatever separation happened here, because obviously there was separation here, because you can't learn these lessons together. Whatever happened, and honestly, whoa. Sorry, I just got a whole wave of what this feels like. Even more. You guys went through some shit. Wow. So let me get this straight here. Give me one more card. Initiation. Yeah, it's another cycle of life. A chapter in your book. Wow. There's so much knowledge coming down to you. And the shadow you've cast isn't anywhere near. Like, the bad things that have happened had to have happened to get you to be initiated into your true self. Every time I've had the Singer of Initiation in my own readings, my life has truly been different afterwards. This really just... How fascinating. So 2 people in a relationship together, probably for almost a decade, went through hell and back with each other, separated, learned a bunch of lessons on their own. The other one, self-respect, this one, self-worth. Both of them leading into self-love. Each of them reflecting it differently, one through the people around them, the other one through the actions of the self. And then coming together because of the interference and, positive and negative interference of all the people in both of their lives. All to get them to be so far from who they truly are, to the point where they felt like they died inside. A piece of them died. And they came back because that's the promise of the Dark Lady. It's in the book. She brings you back from whatever it is you experienced, and it's right next to death. So she's like your angel who took you to the depths of hell and brought you back to show you that you're fine afterwards. Then you ground that into reality, you bring it into manifestation to know that you have that strength, and you finish up the shit you started. Get all the nastiness out of your life. Fill yourself up with that youthful version of you again. Whether you're with someone or not, pretend you're with someone. Pretend you're okay emotionally to yourself. Put a mirror in front of yourself and just stare at yourself while you're smiling. And let all the negative self-talk and all of the junk you say to yourself, tell yourself the opposite is true. Force yourself to evolve past being a bully to yourself. Unless, of course, you'd like to go back to the depths of wailing in tears and grief and being a complete whore and spending all your money and doing everything you can to learn the worst, like the same lesson over and over in the worst ways. Your choice, but you've already learned everything you can learn from this. Doing it again is like reading the same book that you're really not going to get the same message out of. Not even a new message. It's just, there's only so many ways a Dr. Seuss book is going to enlighten you, you know? And if you go back to the same behavior, the same pattern, you're not going to learn anything. So you may as well finish up and move forward knowing yourself better than you did before because of all the people around you. The other person, partner A, had 4 kings. 4 kings, 2 queens, and he or she represented themselves as the Queen of Pentacles and the Empress. This person has 4 people, 4 meddlesome little pixies. Someone reminding them to do what's right and what needs to be done. Their own inner dialogue and their own self-sabotage and what is that word? Self-gluttony? Like, when you're just overindulging things you know don't serve you anymore, but you're doing it anyway. If these 2 people really get their heads out of their own butts and see what's right in front of them, the love that's right there, the realization of the love that's there will propel them through the Singer of Initiation into a new way of being. The 53 will become the moment that you realize you're better than who you were, and that you're kinder and more forgiving, and the sexual energy you have, the passion, the darkness, the light, it all makes a beautiful painting of you. You don't have to, hide parts of your shadow. You don't have to do any of it. Embrace your shadow. Really. Like the divine masculine and divine feminine. One isn't weaker than the other, but each of them have talents and gifts that the other one requires to function properly. The sacred masculine, no matter, see? Each of them have skills that the other one needs to function properly. Stability, light. Focus. 10, a new beginning. So, really, you've already met the person you're going to be your life partner. This person these 2 people are each other's life partners. 100%. My right ear, my left ear just went totally deaf for a minute. You really don't want to hear this about this person, but it's true. The person that hurt you to the point where you felt like you died and you couldn't even communicate to them, because everything changed so much, and the way that it was ended. The love that was there ended. The story that was starting switched to another story. From one way of being, you guys moved into another way of being, and now you're moving into a really perfect partnership. But you cannot think that it's going to be all gumdrops and lollipops and stuff. When you've been through something like this, when you're learning how to make medicine out of a snake's venom, when you're learning how to take the gifts of the Dark Lady, the Scorpio, the wreckage, the ruin, and make something out of it, you have to think and feel and be in the wavelength of knowing that you are just as much capable of life as you are of death, to destroy something as you are to create something. So the partnership that is waiting for you here is requiring you to be light of heart, but also take your shadow with you. Your pain made you who you are. Your pain was a gift from the universe to you. And you're the universe in your own reality. So it's your gift from your greatest self to yourself. Stop listening to other people. I mean, really, if you have, this is no jab on to anybody anywhere, but if you're listening to like 20 different people online about what you should do about a relationship, you're not ready to be in a relationship. If you think that just because you've been doing something bad that you have to wait till you do something, to be in a good relationship until you're a better person, it's not going to happen. Go and do it when you don't feel like you're ready for it, and it'll happen by itself. Because you're showing the universe that you're ready, whether you're ready or not. It's your test, it's your initiation. Are you going to take matters into your own hands, heart and voice, instead of allowing, or are you going to allow the pain to make you into something you're not and end the journey of who you've been and who you're going to be way too quickly? This can mean self-love, but here, that's not what I'm feeling. I can go through all the different variations of it for you, but I'm giving you what I'm feeling here, what's being asked to share with you. You can get out of the darkness however you want, but the story you've woven for yourself with this other person, it's, how do I word this tactfully? This is what you've been wanting. This is truly what you've wanted. And it's coming for you and to you. You can either go through it with, all your unfinished business finished, or you can drag your entourage with you and have them sabotage things again. But whatever happened here in the past that needs to be communicated about, that no communication has occurred due to some pain that ended something. So if two people were together and they separated, the ally unable to communicate with that which it was separated from, the ally then went into a darkness of self, a dark night of the soul, became completely ungrounded and irrational and did a whole bunch of stupid things, left a whole bunch of things unfinished, included a whole bunch of people in there, a whole bunch of things to hide behind, a whole bunch of problems, all to find out that they really love themselves after all. They just have to surround themselves with a whole bunch of nonsense that led them to self-love. Now comes the test of self-love. Are you ready to love yourself enough to give yourself that which you wanted? Companionship. And no, this isn't about a pet. This isn't about work. This is not about any of those things. This is truly about the universe giving you a heads up that your life partner, just like the Singer of Connection in the other reading, when life partnerships like this occur, it's not two ships going across the sea, and then they meet at some point, they intersect. So this is the point in the manifestation of what's happening in your life and this person's life, where your two stars of what? Everything's aligned for you and this person to meet together. Everything. Now, will this be the last time? Absolutely not. It can happen again. It will happen again. It just depends if you want it to happen now, within this week, or if you want to wait till you're more jaded, worn, tired, tarnished, to where you feel like you're tarnished, and then, oh, it's broken, it's not good enough anymore. Because when you do a lot of stupid shit when you're in a dark space, and then when you're in the light space, you're like, oh, I can't believe I did all those things. You can skip all of that. Because usually we do stupid shit like that to finish up things we didn't finish up before. So if you just do your quote unquote laundry and move through this test of your companionship, whatever you're going through, this person will be able to lift you out of it. You don't have to do it on your own. Just simply making the decision and communicating in the simplest, most honest way illuminates things in the other person to where they fill their own shoes, so to speak, to help you get through this, and in turn you're helping them live up to their own standard of self. It's kind of like being the gasoline for the car, and the car needs the gasoline, but in order to get the gas, you got to get to the gas station, which means you need to push the car. So you're pushing the car, you've already done all the pushing, and you're at the gas station, and now you're like, I don't even want this gas anymore. But if you just fill the tank, you're ready to go. Let's do some tarot with this, because the other two readings were fairies and the other one was tarot. So anything else for this really fantastic looking union that's occurring between people? Ace of Wands and the Death card. Again with the Death card. Let's get one more. And I'm telling you now, this is about a person you've had sex with. You have had sexual intercourse with this person. If you have not, but everything else matches up with this person, you are about to... So if this is somebody in your family, like you think this is a family person, it's not. Rewatch the video and be aware that this is a person in your life that a lot of intimacy has occurred with, or will occur with. Death, Ace of Wands, Dark Lady, unfinished business, collective of people, communication, quick movement, rapid movement, moving back and forth really quickly between things, having way too much on your plate to do, but you're doing it anyway. That hyper-caffeinated kind of feeling. And look, an opportunity to close the gap between you two. There's better days coming. You just have to put the rest of that which is already done and over with. And it doesn't mean the person, it means the way you were. You can't have a happy relationship with someone if you're constantly blaming them as the villain. You can't have a good relationship with anybody if you are constantly carrying baggage of what they did or didn't do, and then you use other people to justify your passionate release of these issues. Now, death and Ace of Wands, that's a massive, massive rebirth coming. An opportunity to completely rise from the ashes with this. Really. What was once considered dead really isn't. You have 2 death cards here. It's like a cycle of life and death. 10 of Pentacles. Person A got the same card. They seemed that they would be very discontent with their life without you in a way. Like they'd just be living it in whatever, I got all this, I did all this, blah, yada yada. In this way, in this context, this person is tired of dragging themselves through low vibe lifestyles, and they want to transform everything. They want to light the spark and, light the fire to transform everything into a legacy with this 10 of Pentacles. Sorry, I gotta arrange these. This is annoying me. I know how I like to see readings, and it's like a book and a page, a story. If you can't see the other part of the story, you don't know what's going on. An opportunity to transform that which is dead back into life in a better way. The Lovers. Whoa. The Hermit. And again, the Sun at the bottom of the deck. Quit playing hard to get. Really, quit playing hard to get. You want 10 of Pentacles, Lovers. Lovers is there. The Sun. Below the Sun is 5 of Pentacles, but we're not going to deal with that because that's just self-sabotage energy. Just FYI for yourself, if you're ever in the 5 of Pentacles or the 5 of Cups energy, you're doing it to yourself, and you should really change the way you think and feel. Look up some affirmations, start feeling better about it. Look up Abraham Hicks or Reverend Ike or, law of attraction things. Do not allow yourself to stay in that energy at all. If you do, you're being your own worst enemy. And you're taking from yourself that which would move you forward into a new beginning that would change everything in your life. From loose ends and people interfering to a legacy that you can leave behind for generations. This person's hair is white, this person's hair is gold. It's almost like this young girl here. Maybe it's a boy, or this boy here. Whatever you're doing now with this divine counterpart will leave such an empire behind that it will last for your great-grandchildren to thrive on. The story of you and this person will light the way and be a lullaby, a story, not just for your grandkids, but for if you had grandkids now, their great-grandkids would also benefit from this. If you don't have children now, you would be the great grandparent in the stories that these kids tell, that my great-great-grandpa, my great-grandma got through something so massive, and they set the precedent, they set the standard for how people in our family deal with relationships. Like, somebody could even be changing everything about themselves and starting a whole new lineage. I mean, 2 death cards and an Ace of Wands. Something is really different. Really different. Jeez. This is really interesting, because this death card, this lady, where was it? Look, 2 different decks. Red. Red. There's something about this person that is having me feel that it's this person, which was this person in the childhood. So it's kind of like Pan's Labyrinth. The girl, Ophelia, grew up, went through all the shit, learned all the lessons, had her own children, had her own legacy and love story. Grew up, left an entire family, a generation, great-grandkids, and everything else down this winding road of